Stand. Pledge allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Times so far, Kim. 2 times this week. Oh, is it?
All right, you all had a chance to go over the agenda. Any changes or additions to the agenda? Being none, it'll stand as approved. Consent agenda. I'll have a chance to look at that as well. Any additions? Changes? Deletions? If not, Chair will entertain a motion to accept the consent agenda.
I'll make motion.
Motion made. Second.
I'll second it.
Second, Mr. Creevy. You got that?
I do.
Wonderful. Village president, as you can see, is not here
You got to
today.
vote on it.
We got to vote on
Sorry.
it. I have to roll call, right?
Yeah.
Consent.
Should I roll call that one?
I
Okay.
do. I'm with, yes. Mhm. Davis,
Yes.
Robert Laraway,
Yes.
Brent Peavy,
Yes.
Carol Shannon, yes. Okay, that's 4. I'm just gonna do this all the same way.
Okay.
Okay.
My bad, because the motion and second, it took up 50% of the group here anyway. Okay, Ferguson is not here this month. I'm taking his place. My name is Bob Laraway. And I do not have anything to report in his place. So we'll move right to Mr. Manager.
You have a relatively short report in your packet. I'll highlight a few of those items. I unfortunately received word today that our friends at Isabella County, the Board of Public Works, which I happen to be a member of, will not be able to meet again this month to take action on the Lake Isabella North Agreement due to a lack of a quorum. And that they actually don't have enough people appointed to the board right now for a quorum to exist because the county commission hasn't filled the vacancies that expired at the end of the year. So I emailed Bob Willoughby, the drain commissioner, who's the de facto head of the group. Is there some other way that we could kind of get around this and get the signature? Because literally the last thing we need before we can send this off. So hopefully we'll hear something positive out of that. But if not, they try and meet again in March. The county, I know, is advertising to fill that positions, I should say. So if anyone would like to serve on the Board of Public Works, submit your application. You make a whopping $30 a meeting. It's fourth Thursday of the month at 4:30 at the county building.
Why do you keep looking at me when you're talking?
Looking at anybody that wants a quick $30.
It's close to work.
What's that?
It is close to work.
Close to work, yeah.
Just walk right over.
That's right.
Other news, you probably know from the email I sent out, but Mr. Durham, who we had brought on last year to take over the code enforcement position, has unfortunately needed to step away from that position in his retirement. He has other duties on the home front that require his attention, and it was just too much on the home situation for him to keep coming in a couple days a week. So that position is open. We haven't publicized anything at this point in time. We'll probably look at April to get towards that, just from, we still only have 2 vehicles. I'd like to kind of get through March, which is hopefully the last hurrah plowing season before we would get into a situation where we'd have 3 people potentially needing a vehicle at one time, which you would have right now on a day like tomorrow where you're going to plow quite a bit. So, zoning permits, we've had 3 come in. We're working with 2 individuals right now. One that has actually already applied that I think is probably going to get approved tomorrow. And another one who's probably a couple weeks out. Both of these are garage projects. We do know there are a couple of house projects out there. Builders are. One guy said that he's like 3rd on the list of Shafor. So like maybe this fall we'll get rolling on it, but so there, still some work out there, but not nearly what it was even a year ago at this time. So the Lake Restoration Committee has met twice so far, and they are meeting again tomorrow at 4 o'clock. The first meeting, they kind of did their organization and they narrowed down the list of applicants for the at-large seats. We had about 16 individuals apply for the 3 seats. They knocked it down to about 8. They've interviewed 6 of them, and they're interviewing the final 2 tomorrow. And afterwards, it'd be my thought that they would then work to fill those vacancies on that committee. For those that don't know, in the organizational process, Norm Burmeister from the association was elected to be the committee chair. Due to the size of the group, we're gonna have to meet in this room, so we thought it was appropriate that if we're gonna meet in our building, the association should probably be the chair. It's the setup that we've used for liaison, that essentially the visiting team, if you would use a sports analogy, is the one that runs the meeting. Not that there's a lot that goes to it, but you should have all received an email, as well as all of our planning commission members and ZBA members, about upcoming training opportunities through the Michigan Michigan Association of Planners. There's a couple of virtual ones that are a potential option for people. They have advanced ZBA on March 14th. There is planning and zoning basics. The virtual one is the 21st and 22nd. Greg Belcom from our ZBA is signed up for that one. Site plan review at Mount Pleasant City Hall on March 1st. Leo Wickert from our planning commission is signed up for that one. I am signed up for the zoning admin 2.0. But if anyone is interested in either the Mount Pleasant or the virtual ones, let me know and we can definitely get you signed up to go.
Are you gonna do the virtual one here?
Yeah, 1 to 3:30 for I'm the only one I'm doing is the zoning administration. Yeah,
That's a virtual.
that's a virtual one. Yep.
Okay, you can sign me up for that one. Then I can just come here for it then.
Last but not least, we didn't schedule it this month. You introduced an ordinance last month for a rezoning for that property right there on Coldwater Road. We normally try and do the hearing the following month, but since we were down to only the bare minimum to hold a quorum, we said, let's not spend a couple $100 to put it in the paper, just on the off chance that, I don't know, someone gets strep throat and can't be here, so. Wait till we get into one more person, so we've got a little bit of a cushion here, but, so that'll be on your docket next month. And that is all I have.
On your zoning permits, for the housing, how is that one on, Barcelona just before Cordova coming?
They obtained a 6-month extension, which they're allowed 1 under the code, so they have until
Okay.
like the end of June.
They did get these.
Yeah, they did, yep,
Fine.
Yep.
Thank you.
welcome.
Sherman Township. Jeff, what do you
A
got
couple
for us?
quick things, we had our first, special meeting again regarding the sewer system. We're just starting to get the ball rolling here. We've got our consultant and, lawyer in place now, so they are gonna start taking the steps to initially start figuring out where we're gonna continue to do our E. coli testing, things like that, before we can even start putting together a plan on what we're gonna do overall, so. The Dollar General Tax Tribunal stuff, if you're not familiar with that, Dollar General has basically gone to the entire state of Michigan, but here in Isabella County, wherever the Dollar Generals are at, they're fighting their taxes. So they're trying to go to tax tribunal and get it all reduced. Right now, if we settle for the pricing that they've offered us and we accept it, we'll lose only $116 in taxes. So basically last night at our board meeting, we were saying it isn't worth pursuing any other legal aspects to fight $116 with a loss. So we're gonna submit the letter back to them and say, here's what we agree with, and if they're okay with it, that'll take care of that. We had bonded together with the other 2 townships that are together, so that we actually took the lawyer's cost and divided it by 3, so it only cost us the third of the lawyer's cost in the first place to get where we're at this point, so. We also approved money finally for a new webpage and hosting for Sherman Township to get done. If you guys have been on the current website right now, it sucks. But that's because I had to recoup something in an hour's worth of work, Wintel losing everything for us, so. So it's gonna be about 4 or 6 weeks or so, we'll get all that out there. And we will start including a lot of the sewer information, not that village residents are that concerned about with it, but. There will be other stuff that'll be on there as well.
It does need an update.
Pardon me?
It does need an upgrade, you're sure.
Oh, yes, so it's, hey, it's what I did for free for an hour and a half worth of work, just to get the basic information up there because of our special meeting, so. we are going to have our public hearing for our budget at our next month's meeting, which is March 20th at 7 p.m. It's gonna be quite a bit to go through this year because we have to start accounting for monies we're gonna have to start putting away for sewer. So we're gonna have to create some new accounts and move money around and do a lot of that stuff. So we had a lot of that talked about last night, in our meeting as well. So, board of review dates for taxes, if anybody wants to do them, March 13th from 2 to 5 and 6 to 9, and then March 15th from 9 to 12 and 1 to 4 is when the board of review will be at Sherman Township Hall, in case there's anybody who wants to object to their taxes that they're paying. So, we think about doing a cleanup day on May 20th. I know we haven't done one last year. This year we're talking about trying to do it, but we're not sure if we made the time frame when they send the taxes out. We usually put the cleanup day brochure in with that. I'm not sure if they made it out yet on that, but if they could get one into them today, they were gonna try to mail it out, and we will do it on May 20th. If they couldn't do it, then the board felt at that point there wouldn't be enough ways to notify enough people. So we talked about possibly doing it in the fall instead, where we could send it out with the fall taxes, and so that everybody gets a notification for that. So I'll let you know if we ended up getting it taken care of or not, and if there is, it'll be cleanup day on May 20th this year from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. I think it's about it. That's the majority of the stuff that we covered last night.
That's it then?
Pardon?
That was it then for Sherman
Yeah,
Township?
that's it for the Sherman Township stuff, and then I wasn't at the LIPOA meeting this month, so I don't have anything to report on that.
Nobody else got anything from the LIPOA?
Nothing outside of what we've been doing at the Lake Committee.
I'm sorry?
Nothing outside of what we've been doing at the Lake Committee, so.
Okay. So we don't have a report from them. Public comment section, we'll open that at, call it 7:12. Anything from, yes, sir, name, address?
Tim Fox,
3 minutes.
6613 West Little Turtle Way, Wademan. And, just to sort of extrapolate on what Jeff said, the problem with the Dollar Generals is that they see this as becoming a template for others to do. So they had it assessed at 900,000. The Dollar General wanted it down to 600 and some thousand, and they're trying to get 700 and some thousand to have them agree to, but they just keep going back because they know it's not worth the attorney fees to do it. But if you look at the broader picture, that they look at other places trying to do this, and so the tax base could go down. And just wanted to bring that forward. That's it.
Thank you. Appreciate your attendance and your input. Queensway Shielding paving bid, Mr. Manager, what have you got for us on that?
So at last month's meeting, you may recall that we discussed the need to do a non-motorized project as part of our Act 51 obligations through the state of Michigan. And we discussed a couple of different options and settled coming in on doing a 4-foot paved shoulder across from the association office, going from Pequena Drive north along the eastern shoulder up to basically the end of the association parking lot. It'd be about 325 linear feet of shoulder paved in that area. We received a quote from Central Asphalt, do it all, pull out the dirt as opposed to having us prep it. $12,085.60.
How long do they anticipate that project taking?
This would probably take about 1 day to pull the dirt and the next day to pave it and be done with it, and not like all day.
I noticed on that, there was like a $1,500 savings if the village does the traffic control. Would it not be worth our while to look at, temporary agencies, getting somebody and then just having them work for the, under the supervision? I mean, $1,500 for a day's work, and we're still, if we hire somebody, we're still gonna come out like $1,200 a head.
Potentially.
So,
Well, what's the liability?
Liability must have scheduling on it too.
They'd be under the direct supervision of the paving company, wouldn't
Not if we have to hire them, no.
Right.
it? If we have to hire them,
We have to hire them,
and we're
yeah,
providing them, but they're still taking direction from their foreman.
not if we're the ones hiring them. If we hire them, they'll work under our discretion at that point in time.
Okay. I'd still like to take a look at doing that. $1,500 savings, that's quite a bit. We're just standing there with a flag.
That's not just flag, it's putting all the signs up days before the construction zone ahead, work zone.
Then you gotta rent the signs.
You gotta rent the signs,
We don't have the signs.
not to do with construction zone, no. We have detour signs.
Okay. Well, I'll leave that to your discretion, but I wanted to bring the point out, $1,500, $1,500. Even if we save 1,000 of it, that's a pretty good reduction on that bid. But, we'll leave that to your discretion, Mr. Manager. Next up would be, is there any other questions on,
Is that coming out of the general fund or is
Comes out of
that
Major Street Fund.
Major Street?
Yep.
I don't know if we still had ARPA money or anything if that could towards that or.
I mean, you could, I mean, that's subject to discussion under new business.
Yeah,
Um,
I didn't know what we had left on that. I didn't look.
well, if you cancel the vehicle purchase under new business, you're gonna have about $36,000 left. Which the finance committee looked at and is recommending go towards additional shifts with the sheriff's department.
recommending your board what?
Additional shifts on our contract with the sheriff's department and paying this year where we don't have millage money that you've already approved the contract for.
Right.
And then the millage will cover, it's the next item, isn't it?
Yeah, I didn't mean to get us off topic.
So I'll wait to say that.
Wait for what?
I was just gonna wait to say the rest until Jim's done. What he needs to
They
say.
were doing that, they suggested doing that for this year to cover the sheriff department. They suggested taking
The finance committee, yeah.
the money to cover for this year's expense. Is that what I'm understanding?
Well,
Correct.
This year
This
and,
fiscal year.
right, and then any money left, we will apply towards the next 2 years of the millage, because the millage covers about, what,
5.5 shifts a month.
a month, and we wanted 6 to 8, so we were gonna use the other ARPA money to make sure we got the 6 to 8. It doesn't matter, doing this particular project is required because of that, the 51,
At
right?
51,
But it doesn't matter what money you use?
I don't think it does, because you have to spend an amount comparable or equal to that level of your Act 51 disbursement, but I don't think technically it has to be an Act 51 disbursement, because a lot of places will supplement general fund dollars into these projects.
Okay.
So no, I don't think at the end of the day, technically it would have to be Act 51, that's what I'm thinking, going ahead here.
Because ultimately, to have the other shifts, we could still use general fund money, correct? To add a shift or two to the sheriff millage,
Yeah, I mean, that'd be the only place where that could come from.
but we could do
Yeah.
that, okay.
Okay, do we need a vote on the agreeing with the finance committee?
Well,
We're not there yet.
first you've got the shoulder paving bid before you that could have action taken on it.
We have to approve it, is that it?
If you'd like me to move forward with it, yes. I don't have the ability to spend $12,000,
Oh, come
guys.
on.
When did they say they were gonna do it before?
I told them it had to be done by June 30th, because it has to be this fiscal year for us to make it in this Act 51 report that we have to file at the second half next year.
You estimated it's like a 1 or 2 day job?
It won't even be that. I mean, it'll be 2 hours, 3 hours to pull the dirt back at most, and then they'll have it paved in probably an hour and a half.
Pretty sure.
It's not a lot of work. It's. I figured out it was.
Well, we know it's maybe even less than a day, close enough for me.
It's a whopping like 16 tons of asphalt they're gonna put down.
Okay, is there any further discussion on the bid?
I'll make a motion that we, accept the Queensway shoulder paving proposal.
Motion made by Brett, seconded,
I'll second.
seconded by Al. Can I do roll call?
Any discussion? We have to do discussion?
Discussion or roll call?
No, discussion first, then we'll,
If you have additional discussion, yeah.
yes.
Okay, no, the 12,085. That's without trying to get somebody else to do,
Correct.
right? Is that the one?
That's what them doing the track.
That
that's what
includes
I'm
the
doing.
1,500 for
Right.
the flags, signs.
Because I'm also trying to coordinate this around when the county is gonna do the chip and fog on that same section of street too.
Sure.
So I've got a couple of different balls I'm covering here in terms of when stuff is getting done.
This here, that is just a done deal. We walk away from it and we don't have to worry about.
Yeah.
You know, the road or,
Yep.
traffic, which I think is probably a better idea, because by the time you throw the liability, the rent and everything, pay 2 guys. 1,500, I agree with Bob's a lot, but when you get into a road project, it's not much. So that's all I just want to make sure that that was in.
You all set then, Bob? Ready for roll call? Yeah. Okay, cool. I won't call that name. Robert Laraway,
Yes.
Brett Peavy,
Yes.
Carol Shannon, yes. Al Davis,
Yes.
okay.
And the finance committee, reference to vehicle purchases.
So the finance committee met, last Wednesday in the morning. And with the code enforcement position being currently vacant, Ford has not yet scheduled a production date for the vehicle that the council approved in like early October. So my recommendation to them was to cancel the vehicle purchase, which would really be the only action item needed tonight. And that would free up that money for use, however the council wants to determine at a later date and time. But to get to that point, you need to formally vote to cancel the vehicle purchase first.
So what you need from us right now is cancel or don't cancel.
Yep, the vehicle.
So then I'll make a resolution that we cancel the deal purchase at this time.
Make a motion.
Yeah, that's, I'm saying that, I'm making a motion.
We're actively seeking another code enforcement person, right?
Not at the moment. I will probably in April. I want to get through plowing season, so I don't want to do it in March.
Right.
Then we run the situation where you got 3 people who need 2 vehicles. So, yeah, they'll be back and
It is our intent to.
it is our intent, yes.
I just think like we know we had that money set aside for the vehicle. If we're gonna go that route, I just hate to, next year will be harder to come up with that money.
Potentially, part of the reason why we looked at doing a new vehicle as opposed to a used vehicle was with your ARPA funds, you've got to keep whatever assets you buy on the books through 26 before you could liquidate and put it back in the general fund. So that's what we looked at, doing the vehicle, holding it until we need to replace a truck, which would potentially be 26, 27, that range, 28 maybe. Who knows what the world's gonna look like at this point in time.
And at this point, it might be a better option to look at a used vehicle.
Yeah, I think for a code enforcement vehicle, We might get a better bang for our buck just to buy something used that's got a bunch of miles on it at this point in time and just drive it till it dies.
It's not gonna go very far.
The beater with a heater, but, and when it comes to truck replacement, I think there's some discussions that need to be had there on, we've done the F-250s at this point in time, do we go up to a 350 then? Do we do a bigger truck? What's our agreement with Malley look like at the time? I think there's some other, moving parts that we'll probably take a bigger look at the situation. And that, our relationship with Malley is fantastic, but, Jake's injury is Jake's injury, and how that plays out in future years is yet to be known.
When do we have to have money spent, the ARPA money?
You have to have it obligated by the end of 24, spent by the end of 26.
So we don't have to spend it yet.
No, not at all.
I mean, my 2 cents is that we can cancel this vehicle and just kind of wait and see. I would hate to. I mean, we just passed a millage that, past patrols, if we wanted more patrols, we should have did more millage.
Well, that was discussed at this table, and the consensus of the council was to not ask for more money because you had 2.5 mils on the ballot at the same time for Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
My recommendation was a 0.5 mil for police because it wouldn't cover, 1/3 isn't gonna cover the shifts that the council wanted.
Right.
Hindsight's wonderful.
But the feeling was, well, then we're getting
Yeah.
close to 3, and do we
Yeah.
lose them both then?
Yeah.
All those are tough decisions to go through.
So in 2 years, one of the discussions will be, do
What do
we
you
have
go
to
after?
do, 0.5 as opposed to 0.33? So we can afford what we want to do.
Yeah, it doesn't, if you want to scrub the bill, that's fine with me, but I think that, I don't know, we can just hold on to that money. We got over a year. So.
Who knows what the market will be then for vehicles?
Knowing that
Yeah.
all of your shifts for this fiscal year are gonna come out of general fund then. For the sheriff's department.
Yeah, that's what they recommend, right?
They recommended using the ARPA money instead of general fund money
Yes.
for that purpose.
2 things we recommended. One was canceling the purchase of the vehicle. And the second one was using the ARPA money, at least a portion of it, to fund the extra shifts for the sheriff's patrol.
Right now.
At least this
the
year.
Motion you made was to accept.
To cancel.
Cancel the vehicle.
Yes, that
Accept
is.
the recommendation to cancel.
By their recommendation.
I just wanted to clarify the motion you made. Now we're still looking for a second.
Yes,
And I would second it.
all right. Thank you.
And a roll call vote.
You all set?
This is just for canceling.
Just cancel the
Just
vehicle.
canceling, yeah.
Yeah, it's the only thing.
Right, Robert?
Yeah.
Brent Peavy,
Yes.
Carol Shannon, yes. Al Davis,
Yes.
Motion passed. Next item is Article 6 of the codified ordinances, which Tim is part of. You're doing this in bits and pieces.
Yeah, so-
Because there's a few of us here.
Correct. So the council in December said,
December, yeah.
we're gonna go through this. Give us pieces over the next few months, and then when we get through all of them, then we'll introduce one ordinance that has all of it. So last month you had 4 or 5 sections. Being a light group this month, I didn't want to put a whole bunch before the group, just in case somebody wasn't here and we didn't meet. So you only have a couple of sections in it this month. The violation and penalties, this is a rewrite that our attorney did for us, expanding on the current section a little bit. Land division regulations, those are pretty much unchanged with a couple of grammatical issues we cleaned up. The uniform house numbering one, that was a fun one. The village back in 2000 adopted an ordinance to require uniform house numbering, parcel numbering. At the time, parcels were addressed based on distance from center line of baseline and meridian. So your north-south streets were the physical footage from that to the next mile road. The village said, no, we're gonna make it a lot simpler. We're just gonna go traditional municipality, you know, 1001, 1002, 1004 on this side, 1001, 1003, 1005. We got a nice binder in there with every lot, every address. The nice little protective sleeves, because I think it was done on a typewriter, so I know, electric typewriter probably, but nevertheless. So, nothing of substance changed in this section, but what I did was I edited, so I think it's more uniform on what it says. Because we called it a uniform house numbering, but we're numbering parcels.
Right.
Commercial, vacant, we're doing the parcels, not the house. So I changed it to numbering and addressing, because that's really what you're going after, is not house numbers, but property numbers, so. You know, those are the main changes in there. You know, a little grammar here and there. But no changes of substance. You're still gonna have to put the green sign at your house. You know, on your mailbox or on the house itself. Swimming pools. This was another one that didn't do a whole lot of changes here. I took out the no lighting or electrical wiring shall overhang the surface. That's not something that we need to get involved with. I added hot tubs to the setback from 10 feet to the side of the property line. Only if you're gonna have a pool, it makes sense to stay the same for a hot tub. You know. Those are the only sections I brought for you tonight.
The only question I have on those is on the swimming pool section on draining.
Yeah.
The verbiage is confusing me. I think it's page.
The very last one.
David reads that
Can't
they
drain.
have to drain on an acre soil.
Let's see how.
You know, I want to just change the verbiage on that a little bit.
It's.
Oh, no should be, no
Right,
should not be
that's
deleted.
one of the edits
Okay,
I have right
yeah.
here for you, so,
Gotcha. Yeah,
yeah.
no should not be removed.
right,
So no swimming pool or hot tub
Right.
shall be wholly or partially emptied onto another property unless written permission is first obtained from the invasive owner.
Thought that-
Yeah.
Yeah, that should say.
God, just
On this
just
section.
spelling stuff,
Stuff, okay.
that's all that's my job,
Okay.
I'm the.
Any other discussion on the section before us?
No, it looks pretty straightforward, like small little tweaks.
Any reason, we can go ahead and pass that section, right?
Yeah, I mean, this goes back into the
Why you give it
the pool of all these, you know, so you still got, you know, such fan favorites of animal control, blight, noise,
We got a lot of sections.
right away, signs. Speaking of signs, the Ace Hardware signs are up. They look beautiful. If you haven't looked at them today,
I haven't seen those.
um,
When did they put those on?
this afternoon.
When are they open, do we know?
April is what I've been doing,
Okay, cool,
so.
I'm kind of excited.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay, Chair will entertain a motion to accept Article 6 as amended. At least the sections that we've got.
I don't think you have to do a motion because the whole
Yeah.
thing's gotta come back.
all right, so no articles, we just say yay, it's okay?
Yeah, you reviewed it and these sections are okay and you'll get more later on this.
Okay. Thank you. New business, homework, Tri-County Internet Service. Mr. Manager, take it away.
Yeah, so not that I really have a burning desire to have internet service at a DPW building. Turn it into a gaming lounge, you know, but unfortunately, our security system there needs it for it to function properly. We have attempted to use a radio from this building to that, taking the internet service here and broadcasting it that way. We've run into some weather related issues.
Just a few.
Just a few. or that's just not a feasible answer and one that, you know, is not something that is going to produce this level of service that we need at that facility. So there are really two main internet providers, in my opinion, in the community, and the answer is CMS. Heck, I think Frontier still offers DSL, but it's either Charter or HomeWorks. And we bounce around back and forth thinking, I know, do we go HomeWorks for everything? Do we do HomeWorks here and do Charter there? We're on Charter here for phone and internet. And ultimately the conclusion that we came to is probably the quickest, easiest, and least disruptive to, you know, switching this building's phone and internet, would be to keep Charter at this facility and do HomeWorks at DPW. With the mindset being, in the event that one of the two are offline, we are not completely offline, but the other hopefully will still be up and operational if we had to, you know, do some type of web update, you know, there's some type of disaster or emergency, that kind of thing. But since HomeWorks requires a contract for their services, yours truly can't be the one that makes that approval, you have to. Or Charter actually doesn't. I could go and have Charter do both buildings and everybody goes about their business, but council has to approve contracts. So.
They won't let you like add that like a second building to your account. Charter probably wouldn't, but HomeWorks might be cool.
Yeah, I had Jessica look into it with them and that's a no. No, because we're not in the same physical address.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, we're at 201 Coldwater and 1010 Clubhouse, so. If we were all at one property, it'd be super easy to do, but.
I know like, you know, like cable companies and stuff would let you, like DirecTV, you could have like a lake house and you could have an off-site, you know, so they wouldn't charge you the whole fee. It was like an extra box fee. I didn't know if you could do a satellite location.
They don't offer that, unfortunately.
I asked both places and they said no. I mean, I specifically asked, can we tie it into this account? And they said no.
Nope.
I'll try to pack your stuff up.
After my.
Grab your
call
stuff,
was
you're
done,
gone.
Yeah.
That'd
I
be
delivered
okay.
one.
They were quite wonderful to work with.
Yeah, and
Sarcasm.
Charter's first thing was, we could probably get that for you for what, $6,000?
Yeah, they're like, yeah, it'll be like $500 a month. I was like, we're just talking about Wi-Fi and internet for 3 cameras. He's like,
Yeah,
well, we might be able to get it down to $275 a month. I was like, I don't know what you're.
Wow.
And so then I told him what we paid here and he was like, well, I don't know how you're paying that. And I was like, well, because that's the package we have. So is there something similar? Because we're gonna essentially run the same thing down there.
Mhm.
So it will run the same way and it was a headache.
Yeah, that's an understatement. And they, Charter also, they asked about how many security cameras we run here, and we told them, they're like, well, you should be able to run that on your bandwidth. It's like, it's all on it's not on your network, it's on our inner network here. It's like, these are powered through Ethernet connections, it's not through you guys. But,
I know what you're saying. Getting the right person on the phone at Charter is half the battle. I don't even know if the right person exists.
no.
You ever been in the place in town?
Mhm.
Oh, it's wonderful.
I will say that, the person that we deal with on right-of-way stuff in terms of their permitting is actually very good and very competent, and we've not had issues with Sean is his name.
Come hook up a bootleg account. It happens then.
Yeah.
John, I want a bootleg account. It makes sense. I mean, we pay for 2 internet. I pay for Charter and we have, I don't know, some fiber, Wintel at work. I mean, we do that for that same reason. If your internet goes down in this day and age, it's just,
You have to have access.
Yeah.
never know.
Yeah, in the worst case scenario, I have AT&T and Jessica has Verizon for your cell. I mean, we got 4 potential options at that point in time if things hit the fan where some of us could probably get online and we'll get something out if we had to, but.
So we need a motion to,
So, yeah,
okay, I'll make the motion to approve the contract with the Homeworks Tri-County. So what we wanna do,
I'll second it.
so.
That's the one you're using here?
So that would be at DPW. We have charter here.
Yeah, charter.
We have charter here, yeah.
Okay, any discussion on the motion? We already had it.
I'm good.
You got the second, have the motion and the second.
Yep, I do. Okay, we need to vote.
Yeah, you need
We
to
should.
vote, yeah.
Contract from PV.
Yes.
Earl Shannon, yes. Al Davis,
Yes.
Robert Laraway.
Yes.
Okay. So.
Thank you, folks.
Okay, second public comment section of the meeting. Open at 7:41. Anything else from anyone? Closed at 7:42. Council comments?
I have none.
No, thank you. Well, so.